to be able to just make a choice on your own and just be able to speak for yourself.
This one's wife. Postpartum pre-eclampsia. The verdict. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As I explained in a video yesterday, this one's wife used her new platform of the Confessions of a Female Founder podcast, as you would expect, to pursue the prime aims, to control the audience, to control her guest, to receive fuel from her guest, from the responses and reactions of the audience and the wider media, to manage her facade, to make her seem like she's a competent content creator and a kind and caring person. It is a vehicle that she uses to get to the prime aims, and as part of that, we were treated, and I use the word in its most elastic sense, to a number of breathy and fluffy revelations from this one's wife, and one that has received quite a bit of attention was the disclosure that she had apparently experienced a rare and scary postpartum pre-eclampsia. And this is something that has undoubtedly been reported on thereafter. People ran with the headline about the podcast, "This One's Wife Reveals Scary Postpartum Pre-Eclampsia Experience on Podcast." Hello, had the headline, "This One's Wife Reveals Scary Pre-Eclampsia Diagnosis as she opens up about life with cowboy-loving Archie and Lilibet." Entertainment Now. "This One's Wife opens up on scary pregnancy condition in candid podcast debut." Accordingly, a podcast that was meant to be about what it's like to be a female founder, a female entrepreneur, a female business person, became, although it's no surprise, all about this one's wife. Because she isn't a business founder in the sense of having founded anything that could be described as a successful business, because she isn't an entrepreneur, because she isn't a successful business person, she actually has nothing to talk about. And therefore, because she can't just sit there and let somebody else receive all of the fuel, namely allow them to talk and provide us with meaningful insights so that she just poses the occasional question, her narcissism causes her to first of all mirror Whitney Wolfe Herd by talking about having experienced a postpartum pre-eclampsia, and then, of course, to fill it with fluff about her own experiences and the usual fridge magnet platitudes. She has nothing to share about business because she's not intelligent, because she hasn't run any, but she thinks that she has. Now, it would be fair enough if she was just starting out and she prepared questions which brought out lots of information from the guests about what it's like starting a business, the problems that you face, the difficulties that they experience, perhaps in getting investment. Did they experience any prejudice? What setbacks were there? What things would they advise people starting out not to do? What should you really absolutely do? Secret tips and tricks and so forth. Thus making it a human experience, but also providing something which is tangibly useful. Then that wouldn't matter that she hasn't got the experience, because she's letting the guest carry the show, which would be appropriate. But we know that this one's wife can't do that because the show isn't about her guests, it's about her, because she's a self-absorbed narcissist. She isn't really interested in what these guests have to say, other than when they're praising her. It's like her cookery show. The people that were guests on that were simply invited to say how wonderful she is. And it's the same with this podcast. The guests are not being invited to provide meaningful insight. They're there as foils to this one's wife to explain how wonderful and kind she is. Because they can't talk about her business acumen, because she hasn't got any. They can't talk about the success of her businesses, because there hasn't been any. And instead, rather than make it about her guest, her narcissism naturally has to make it all about her. And the result is an absolute clusterfuck of a podcast, which has been rightfully panned by serious critics. And as part of that inability to talk about anything business-wise, we then get the revision of history that she experienced postpartum pre-eclampsia, which, as I explained in my video yesterday, I don't believe that she experienced. But that's just my view. What are the observations of other individuals to this revelation from this one's wife. After all, it formed the headlines of certain publications. Well, here are the below-the-line reactions from the Daily Mail. Trust no one writes, Lesson 1. Marry a very rich person from royalty with the emotional stability of a child and use his name to get what you want. Leah Dunn writes, no surgeon would perform a hysterectomy on someone so young unless it's for very serious health conditions. Victoria 2 replies, in California, anything can be done for the right price. Living La Vida Loca, this one's wife's business secret is obvious. Marry a royal prince. Horn 1, what's the first tip? Marry a prince. You notice a bit of a theme developing here, and these are all of the best rated comments. Sue British Citizen, seriously don't care, stop reporting on the narcissist. Cindy Stryker, confessions of a female flounder would be more apt. And I'm rather pleased to report that your glorious narrator appears in the comments here. My sister Violet replies, H.G. Tudor has described her 404 moments, when her narcissism shuffles through its collection of facial expressions and points of view, trying to figure out which one to use in a given situation. She visibly stalls on the download. And across the pond adds, H.G. also says she will be her own downfall. I think we are watching it. Well, if you're listening, my sister Violet, and across the pond, thank you for mentioning me in the comments section of the Daily Mail. And I would urge those of you listening that where you do frequent below the line, do give your glorious narrator a mention. It'll enable people to understand more about this one's wife's behaviour or any other narcissist of a celebrity nature or famous nature that I've been commenting on, and enables more people to come to my work. My thanks in advance. Sapienta writes, so back at the palace within a few hours with pre-eclampsia? I think not. Annie221, sorry, but I don't believe a word she says. Shira, this one's wife reveals huge medical scare after giving birth. Is she still pretending she was pregnant and gave birth? Stop treating us like the fools, this one's wife. We are all not as dim as Harry. Kaz20, tips on building billion-dollar businesses. I thought April the 1st had been and gone. The People's Voice. In what world does this second-rate ass live in as a female founder? The only thing she found was a stupid prince to manipulate. Jerry the Berry, a female founder, what she found then? Surrey Mummy replies, a not-so-bright but very rich royal prince. Poor hapless Harry was the darling of the royal family British public until she came along. Step 1 complete, no further steps needed. Teddy and Gypsy. So the show about female entrepreneurs turns out to be mostly about her. What a surprise. Mario's 007. Confessions of a Yacht Girl would have been more appropriate and would certainly sell out. Marmot. It is very dangerous, as in pre-eclampsia, where the high blood pressure often causes the baby to die. Post-eclampsia is easier to regulate. Methinks her timing of this announcement is to ensure she gets headline attention again. Musi replies, cushions don't cause pre-eclampsia. The Boss, 1983. Insufferable, odious madam. Hope your desperate efforts to make millions from your undeserved title help pay for your puppet security in the UK. Taxpayers here have no obligation to pay personal security for persons who like us so much. We want your titles removed and not pay for your security here. Clog Dancer. Will this woman ever stop whinging and talking drivel? A lot of which I suspect is invented. Rise Tune Lyric. I'm a midwife, and let me tell you, she would not be going home after 2 hours, as they have claimed, with postpartum pre-eclampsia. She's talking through a hole in her head, as per usual. I can't believe anyone prints this crap anymore. Father Spruce Loeb. Oh, enough, for crying out loud. I'm bloody sick and tired of this pathetic woman popping up in the media every day. Bevy Boo. Was her medical scare as true as the speeding through New York scare? I doubt it. This woman is dangerous. Shopper 6. So after all these years, she decides to come out with this. She never mentioned it in one of the many, many interviews she's done, or put it in a useless husband's book. Sounds a bit dodgy to me, like most things that come out of her mouth. Shearer. Nope, I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. This is just more make-believe from this one's wife. And below the line elsewhere, in other publications are similar. The public isn't buying it. They don't accept what she's saying. And this is once again another example of where you give the narcissist enough rope, they'll hang themselves. Because of her need to go after the prime aims, her narcissism caused her to want to have a show. But unfortunately, she's got nothing to offer in the show because she's vapid in an empty vessel. Therefore, her narcissism needs to invent things, and what it has done is invent a so-called medical emergency. There's no evidence that this demonstrates that she actually experienced this, and indeed the absence of her talking about it previously tends to support the fact that it hasn't happened, because as we know with this one's wife, if there is something true, she'll milk it. The fact is that this is evidence of her narcissism working against her once again, with so many people turning around and going, "Ah, yes, another porky pie from the Duchess of Delusion. Oh, yes, another lie that she has issued in order to bring the attention onto her. Don't believe it for a moment. Don't accept it." And the comments go on and on and on in a similar vein. Yes, her supporters will believe her, but the vast majority of individuals do not. And the thing is, this one's wife just doesn't pick up on this because her narcissism doesn't allow her to self-reflect. And so she continues to commit these errors, which means that more people see what she is, which means that she tries all the harder to persuade us that she is to the contrary to what people now find her to be. So she continues to commit more of these porcupines and errors, and thus the downward spiral speeds up. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.